Hello, welcome to a quick short video on tips on buying on eBay. I had a few questions from some viewers regarding some other tips as well as some specific questions about buying on eBay. So I figure it's time to do a quick videos on this. Um, One of the questions that was posed was on how I handle buying outside of eBay without getting rip off. Okay, I think that's the question. Real quickly, first, if I think the question is directing at me buying books from eBay sellers outside of eBay. Okay, first, I would not buy any books outside of eBay from any seller that I have not done business with. Okay, so that's common sense. I would have to have at least one or two deals with a seller that went well for me to approach the seller and say, you know, I am interested in these type of books. So if you have them and want to sell them outside of eBay to me, I would be more than happy to do that, and perhaps we can both win. On this case, he can get a good price, not have to pay eBay fees, and get first dip on the books as well as save some money. I try to make it a win-win scenario for the seller. But that being said, I will only do that. I will only approach the seller if I have a good transaction before, or if I get good recommendation from friends that have had multiple good dealings. Okay, I have a lot of friends that also buy a lot from eBay. So, if I see a book that I like from a seller that I have never done any business, I will contact a few buddies and find out if they had any knowledge of this seller before I approach this seller and try to do a deal outside of eBay. And vice versa, many of my friends have done the same. They would contact me and say, Nick, have you buy from this person before? And occasionally I would say, avoid that guy. He is the worst graders or worst packer or whatever it is. So occasionally I have a negative input, but most of the time, if you stick around and buy on eBay as long as I have, you kind of get to know who the good sellers are and who the bad sellers are. Okay, so all that being said, if I contact a seller on eBay and he's willing to discuss books outside of eBay with me, first and foremost, I always ask for a formal invoice. By that, a seller can go on to PayPal and send you an official invoice. Okay, so there's a record of a transaction in details. Second, I always pay with a credit card, never in checks, never with personal PayPal, all that nonsense. I do it legit way so that if something go wrong, I can go back to PayPal and dispute the transaction, or I can go to the credit card company and say there's a scam, this transaction didn't happen the way it should have been, and there's a trail of documents that will protect me. Okay, so bottom line is I will only do a deal outside of eBay protection if I have a deal done at least with the PayPal protection as well as a credit card protection. That's the only way. Okay, there is no such thing as cash, check, personal PayPal, or any methods that cannot be reversed. Okay, so that's my best advice I can give you. The other advice that or tips I can give on buying on eBay that I forgot to mention is whenever I see a book on eBay that I'm interested in that have a return policy, but the picture is not clear enough, first and foremost, I always try to ask if the seller can send me a better pictures. Sometimes that works. Sometimes I get a nasty email back and tell me to go away. That happened a few times, and those are the kind of sellers I will gladly go away. If asking for better pictures or back cover scan on a book that is $100 and they think that's too much hassle to deal with me, I can keep my money and they can keep their books. But if I see, a listing that have a book I want with a return policy, but the picture's kind of weak, one other thing that I can do to help myself is go to that seller and look at his past listing to see if that book has been sold before. I have seen many cases where I see a book that I like, and then I went to the seller old listing and see that that book has been bought before, and then for whatever reason it's relisted. It could be that the previous buyer never paid for the books or returned the books because it was not graded correctly. So I look for those kind of hints to see if this book has been recycled through the listing. So that's one of the warning signs. Is if I see a book that has been recycled through the listing, I tend to be wary of the listing, especially if it is an auction. I don't need to go into great details about shield bidding, but if I see a book that I like that is going through an auction and the same seller have listed the book last week or last month, and for whatever reason the transaction never closed properly, I look at the bidding of the previous listing to see if some low feedback bidders bid up the book and then didn't pay because shield bidding. Then, like I said, there's a lot of hint that you can get from looking at a seller old listing to determine if this listing have flags that you should avoid. But that's it. That's all the tips I have for today. Good luck on eBay. Until next time, bye, and thanks for watching.